When you fail something, when you're trying something, look at it as a positive thing, not a negative thing, because that's gonna make you stronger. That's gonna make you wiser. That's gonna make you be more educated next time before you do it to basically get to that next level that you wanna get.
Welcome to the Cutting Edge Show, a business and construction podcast. I am your host, Carlos Guerrero. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Cutting Edge Show. Today, we actually have a special guest deep in my heart. His name is Edwin Carrion. And for that people that don't know Edwin, he's actually like my big brother since I was 7 years old. Quick story. So the reason that I got into construction, by the way, into my business is because he used to be a developer when I was 18, 19 years old. And he actually had just come out from the Marines. He got into with a friend. You were like with a friend over there in the Marines. And you guys came back here and started investing in properties and buildings. Something like that, right? No. Okay, well, you tell the story. But what I remember was he was building houses, and then he was starting selling the houses. And I was like, oh, how is this guy doing this? So then he was like my mentor for like 2 or 3 or 4 years, many years on my development when I first started my business. And then, things went this way, that way, and then we started doing different things. But I want to welcome Edwin. Edwin, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Congratulations on your show. And to everybody listening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Get ready to enjoy the show.
So what are we talking about here today?
That day we're going to talk about financial freedom, right? That's one of the topics that I think everybody needs to learn about, everybody needs to look forward to, and I think everybody needs to understand what it really means to have financial freedom.
Can you tell them exactly what financial freedom means?
Financial freedom has a lot of different meanings, right? And pretty much to me, what does it mean to me? To me specifically means that you could do whatever you want, whenever you want, and you live your life by design. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have millions of dollars in the bank account, but pretty much means that you get to live the life that you dreamed of and the life that you desire.
So were you saying that everybody has a different meaning of financial freedom?
Yes.
Like for me, it makes sense. Like for me, I guess financial freedom would be that, if I go to a store, I'm not looking at the price. I just buy whatever I like to buy. If I want to take off from work and go travel a month, I could do that because I'm financially
free.
I'm free.
Yes.
So now, before we go into more specifics, can you tell people how you live? Well, who's Edwin Carrion? How did you become who you are today? What are you doing today? And then we'll go into the details.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Just like you, Carlos, I'm an immigrant as well. I came from Ecuador when I was 12 years old. And when we moved to Miami, in a little area called Kendall, that's when we got to meet you. And, you became my brother's best friend. And I know you since that age. It's been a long time since we know each other, which is nice.
How old are you now? 44,
45. 45. I'm 45 years young. So that's really good. I keep getting younger with age. Yeah, I came from there, 18 years old. I went into the military, went into the Marine Corps. Come from a very humble family, raised by a single mother. And just prior to me getting out of the Marine Corps, this is where the story comes, that I had no idea what to do. Just like a lot of young kids, we don't know what we want to do. We have a lot of ideas of where do we want to go. But my main thing was, what do I do? So I called my mom, which is my biggest cheerleader in my life. I'm like, what should I do? She's like, become a developer. I'm like, what is that? I had no idea what being a developer was. So she told me the business model. You buy land, build houses, and sell them. Pretty simple business model, right?
Very simple.
Very simple to do.
How hard can it be?
Again, she's always been my biggest cheerleader, my biggest supporter. And she got a line of credit. She let me borrow some money. And sure enough, I started building. I started becoming a developer. And I happened to be the right person at the right place at the right time, meaning that real estate was just starting to take off in 2002. And I was able to ride the wave of the real estate wave. Loyal husband, been married for 13 years, which I'm very proud of. And I have 2 beautiful girls. And that's me. That's Edwin Carrion.
Nice. So I think you're selling yourself a little short. So when he drove the wave back in 2002, yeah, there was a great wave in real estate to 2006, 2007,
yes,
when the market crashed.
Yes.
And I remember this. And I remember that you had to sacrifice a lot back then. Like, let's talk about, let's be real.
Yes.
Right? You had to sacrifice a lot. I remember that you had to move into one of your investment houses in the ghetto for many years. And I remember you were a little depressed because, and I was in the same position. Like by this time, I had already started my development business.
Yes.
I was following your steps. You were guiding me. You were a great mentor to me, by the way.
Thank you.
So thank you for that. And I was following your steps because I saw how great you were doing. In 2007, 2008, I think when the market crashed, like, probably 89% of people that were in it went into deep areas. So I remember you being a little depressed, and then now you were depressed. What happens next? How did Edwin Carrion grew to get out of that place you were? Because a lot of people here, either they're in just starting or maybe they're in that place now.
Yes.
What is it that you did to like basically keep moving, and then obviously moving forward, you grew where you are today?
We were at a time where we had to sacrifice a lot. And I think because we were young and we were hungry, like we were willing to do whatever it takes to become really successful. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're able to become successful so young. I remember, I still see that picture where we're parked with all the nice cars, like by the airport, that we went skydiving, and we have like, you have your Porsche, I have a Mercedes, everybody's like with nice cars.
And the Maserati too.
And the Maserati, my brother with the Maserati. And with that, it was a lot of hard work. So we had sacrifice going out, we sacrificed spending time with friends, we sacrificed time with family because we wanted to be successful, wanted to be rich, and what we thought being success means at that time. So when the market crashed, of course, you make all these millions of dollars and you lose everything. And now you start thinking, I'm a loser, I'm a failure. Why did I let this happen to me? I'm never going to be able to make that money again. It takes a while, and it takes a certain type of person to be able to get out of that hole that you dig yourself in, right? Because nobody else puts you in that hole. You're the only one that you put yourself in that hole, and you have to make sure that, how do I get out of this hole, right? And to me, it was, I attended a conference, a self-development conference, and that really like changed my mindset right away, because it told me one thing. And, every time I go to a self-development conference or something like that, there's one key takeaway that I could get from there that is going to help me propel to the next level. And that one that hit me at that time was that if you did it once, you could always do it again. And coming back from that, I got up, I dusted off. I said, I got to do it again. And I'm able to do it again. And you and I started as business partners in the construction company. Upscale Construction Group. And it started going well. Going very well.
So to add to that point, like when you were in that situation, we were both in the same situation.
Yes.
So what I started doing back then, I started basically trying to work for clients, because by this time we already had the GC license. We had the experience. We had okay, if I can invest in my developments and I love what I'm doing, let me try to do this for homeowners. And I started doing driveways. I started doing window repair, anything, bathroom repairs. And then at the same time, you were trying to do something similar. So then I think me and you spoke, hey, let's do a joint venture.
Yes.
And this company started Upscale Construction.
And what he said is, you have to be careful with what you say you don't want. Because to me, I remember when I was a developer, I used to say all the time, like, I never want to do work for anybody else. I never want to build for anybody else. Because as a developer, we build our own projects, we sell them. But we have to be careful with that. And then sure enough, when the market crashed, we were working for other people. But the experience that we gained, and I think that's where we got so aligned together, because we knew how to grow a company. We became successful. So we started growing this construction company and started putting like this crazy plan that we're going to be super big. And it started kind of working out until I had to walk away for another reason.
You had another opportunity, which guys, by the way, in life, there's going to be opportunities. He made a good point before, and he was saying that he was able to, after the Marines, his mom kind of gave him this idea, this opportunity that completely changed his path. She got a loan, he borrowed the money, and then that's kind of the opportunity that he took. But he could have easily said, no, I don't want to do that. I think this is dumb. So what I'm saying is, like, when you go through life, there's going to be doors that open up for you. And you have to basically be able to spot the opportunities and either take them or decide that is not for you. So in his case, I remember too, that opportunity came when the gold, right?
When with the economy, we were in a recession. People needed money. So I had a good friend of mine from the Marines. He came, was like, Edwin, do you have any money? I have a great business opportunity. I'm like, I'm not going to say no, I didn't have any money, but I wanted to hear to that great business opportunity. And like I said at the beginning, you have to be the right person at the right place at the right time, because if not, you're going to miss amazing opportunities.
Exactly. So then from there, you basically went out, you started doing your gold, which that business you guys kind of grew to, and we'll go more into how he got the financial freedom that we're talking about. And this is the reason we're telling you this, is because this is how he was able to get financial freedom. And then we'll speak about how he's living now and so forth. But he was able to take this opportunity and invest, and he was able to open many stores. And then years later, he was able to exit the business and sell out and cash out on his business. So what I'm saying is that he's been around the whole cycle. He's been around starting a business with zero, starting another business and actually making it to a multi-million-dollar business and exiting it out. From there, there's more.
There's more. What's more? I'll go back. I got into the gold buying business, and it was a great business. I was able to scale that company really fast. In 2 years, we had 14 stores, created a franchise model. I was able to exit that company in 2014. And by the time I was 30, I retired for the first time in my life. And I'm like, what do I do now? And of course, what do I do is something that I'm very knowledgeable in, which is development. I went back and I picked up where I left off the last time, which was building high-end luxury real estate. And I did that for like a couple of years until I learned that when you sell a business, you buy your time back and you also increase your wealth. So what did I do? I ended up selling my real estate development company to my business partners, and I was able to exit for the second time in my life and retire again. And that's when I had the crazy idea of being a stay-at-home dad. But then my wife goes to me, it's like, oh, she's very supportive, by the way. She goes to me, it's like, yeah, definitely. You could be a stay-at-home dad. Just wake up the kids in the morning, make sure they get dressed, make them breakfast, take them to school, do homework with them, take them to their activities. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to figure something else to do. And I had to like really fast figure out what I was going to do there because you understand.
It's a full-time job. It's not stay home. It's not stay home. It's not. Yeah.
The job that women do in their lives is tremendous that sometimes we don't value it, but they do an amazing job. And I'm always grateful for that.
Definitely remarkable. I wouldn't know what I do if I had to stay home, and no, I can't even think about it. Anyway, so then from there, he actually figured out, and you went to your third business. And by the way, in between these businesses, there's been failure businesses. Yeah. So as an entrepreneur, business owner, the key point to take from this is, and take notes, is you have to fail. You have to fail and you will fail. But what's going to make the difference is that you keep trying. And I'd rather fail faster and then keep trying and try something new that takes so long to fail. So in this whole things, the same with me. Like I had a lot of businesses that failed, that didn't work out, but you pivot and you move forward. In his case, nowadays, in this where we are in the story is basically now he had already sold a business. He retired for the second time. Yeah. I don't want to stay home. And then you started your third business.
Yes, my third major company. And like Carlos says, along the way, yes, there's been quite a few failures. Not only failures in business, but failures in relationship, failures in personal friendships, failures with business partners. So you start learning. And the most important thing out of all of this is that with every failure, you either take it as a failure and then you give up, or you take it as a learning lesson and you continue learning. And the good thing with me is that when I went bankrupt the first time, to me, that was my biggest blessing because I learned that what not to do, and I applied that into my next business, which was how to figure out, number one, not to work as much, because I realized that I don't like to work and I used to work way too much. So that's when I figured out how not to work as much. And the second thing was how to figure out how to set myself up for financial freedom. It's not just having all this money and having all this debt, but it's also how do I set myself up so I'm financially free, so I don't have to worry about where my next paycheck is going to come from, or if I'm going to have enough money to cover bills or whatever. So kind of like setting myself up for that as I kept going on.
Correct. So then he had a trucking business, and then you grew that business as well. Did you finally exit the business as well?
No, I still own that company right now. So yes, in 2017, I got the opportunity of buying a transportation company, knowing that I already exited 2 companies. I learned how to value companies, and I got this like unbelievable opportunity to buy a transportation company. And in less than 2 years, we went from 8 trucks to 40 trucks, went from $2 million worth of revenue to over $20 million worth of revenue. And we got into the Inc. 5000. That's one of the 5,000 fastest growing companies in the United States. And what I love about this business is that compared to real estate development, where you invest, there's cash flow. You buy a truck today, put it on the road tomorrow, and you're getting paid the next day. So constant cash flow. And that's one of the things that I like. The one thing that I didn't know, that is because it's a 24/7 business, that there's a lot of work involved in it. But with scaling companies, you figure out how to put the right people in place, how to let the company run by itself. So I continue doing what I like to do, which is work very little.
Which is, like you say, it's a great point, because the whole thing about having a successful business is having not just the right people, which actually that's the most important thing, having the right people in place, but also having the right process and systems so that it's automatic. So that's great. Hey guys, let's take a break. If you enjoyed this show, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Also, for more information, link below. Let's go. Let's go now into more of the financial freedom, because I think everybody has a different plan of financial freedom. And one of the things, like looking into your journey, you know, when you first started your journey, for you, maybe financial freedom was just to be rich, make your first million or whatever it is. Now that you've gone through the whole ups and downs, you know, your vision in life changes. And one of the biggest pivot points that you mentioned before, and this is for everybody here, and this has helped me, and this has helped every successful person that I meet, everybody has the same thing in common, and that is self-development. Invest in yourself. That is going to be your best investment. A lot of people don't like to spend the money on going to a network event or going to one of these seminars or getting a coach, because they're like, oh, that's ridiculous. 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. Oh no, that's crazy. But that is the best investment you could do for yourself to really change the mindset and go to places that you had no idea you could go. So now we have Edwin here. He did the pivot when he was younger. He invested in himself. He went to one of those things. Out of this whole seminar that he did, he got one golden nugget. That's all it takes. One golden nugget sometimes. And with that, he was able to apply it. And now he was able to move forward and pass all the issues that he had in the past. So now, Edwin, what is financial freedom to you? And how can people plan to get there?
Financial freedom starts with having the vision, right? At the beginning, when we're young, we'll start to think about that we have to be successful. We have to have a lot of money. But financial freedom comes at the end. It's like, how do I want to live my life? And there's a lot of things in our bucket list that we had as kids growing up that we wanted to do in our life. And because we grew up, we got married, we had kids, then we start forgetting a lot about those things. Responsibilities came along the way. We forget about those things, right? To me, financial freedom is being able to make sure that you live a fulfilled life. You live life to the fullest, like I always say. And meaning is that if I'm laying down in my deathbed today and I look back on my life, do I say, oh my God, I should have done this, I could have done that? Or I'm going to say, wow, Edwin, you had such a freaking awesome life. Like you got to do everything that you wanted. And you checked off most of the things in your bucket list, because I know there's always going to be a couple of things that we're going to leave out. But at least if we're able to check out 80% of that. But at the same time, setting ourselves for financial freedom is that we don't have to worry about, where the next paycheck is going to come. We don't have to worry about money. And to me, I think that has been one of the biggest things, that going bankrupt and being extremely over leveraged taught me that I need to make sure that my house is paid for, my cars are paid for, like the things that I want in my life, they're taken care of, so like that everything else that come in, I could be a crazy gambler. And what I mean by a crazy gambler is do any type of businesses that I want, because there's opportunities that come my way. And those are gambles. Sometimes they're calculated risks, but at the end of the day, it's a gamble, and it's how hard you work and the effort that you put into that is you're going to see the rewards.
Yes, it's educated gambling.
Yes.
But that comes with educating yourself and doing your research and so forth.
And that comes, like you said a minute ago, is investing in yourself. And one of the biggest assets that a lot of people don't invest in is yourself. You're one of the biggest assets in anything. You're in your life. You're the biggest asset in your life. And if you don't invest in you, then you're not going to be able to continue growing. And we have to do that. I spend over $100,000 a year in my personal development. And I continue doing it because I learned the value of that. You're either going to get one golden nugget that is going to change your life. You're going to get one contact that is going to change your life, or you're going to become business partners with the person that is mentoring you and is also going to be life-changing.
I mean, I love that you're saying that. Now, let's change the topic a little bit. How important do you feel, from 1 to 10, is to surround yourself with the right people, with the people that are going to support you, the people that are not going to tell you you're crazy for trying to do this?
Yes.
And how, what do you have to do in your life to basically get yourself out of the bad apples?
No. To me, it's, I would say from 1 to 10, 20. 20 is extremely important to do that, right? There's times that we have to walk away, even from the people that we value the most at that time, which is friends, family, because sometimes they don't have the same vision that we have. And in order for you to be like this crazy successful person, or to have these visions that you're going to have, is that nobody's going to relate to you and you're going to feel like an outcast. So you have to make sure that you walk away from that and find people that are crazy like you, that are going to support your crazy goals, your crazy ideas, your crazy visions. And there are people like that out there. There's a lot of people out there like that.
They call it a 1%. Like, and that's why I said that it's lonely at the top.
It is.
Because not everybody has the right mindset. And that's, so what happens, guys, is that a couple of things that I'm getting from this meeting and from this interview is that, number one, invest in yourself, first and foremost. You got to fix your mindset. But number two is that surround yourself with the right people, because some of us are self-motivated, but some of us are not. So having the right people around yourself, they're going to either help you or they're going to bring you down. So important of who you're hanging out around with, so like you could basically go places that you want to go. Another thing too is partnerships and like networking and like meeting people. How important has that been to you? Like meeting different people that have different ideas, have different stuff.
Everything gets interrelated. And for the reason I say that is that everybody talks about your network is your net worth, right? And that's true about that. Because when you start getting yourself surrounded with people, you become exposed. And the moment is when they talk about the law of exposure, right? Once you get exposed to something, you cannot like take it out away from your head. So to me, I was happy, riding on my 50-foot yacht, and I thought it was like cool, and I got this huge yacht and everything else. And then I go hang out with this friend of mine, and he has an 80-foot. Now my mind just changed. I'm like, now I want an 80-foot, right? Because now I just got exposed to something bigger, to something better. I'm like, and now you want that. And it's hanging around with that type of people that are going to help you continue leveling up. And those are the ones that are going to make sure that they push you to become better, not only financially, but in all aspects of life. Because yes, the ride to the top is lonely, but once you get to the top, there's a lot of people out there that are willing to spend time with you, hang out with you, and create those amazing relationships and partnerships with you.
100%. I love all that information, all those tips, because obviously we learn this as you go through life. We learn this when you're getting somewhere. And I know for a fact, I don't even have to ask you this, but I know for a fact you're still not halfway where you want to go, right? I'm the same. I still need to keep going up the ladder, even though I'm comfortable, you're comfortable, but you always want to keep growing. And that's the mentality that you need to have by surrounding yourself with the people. And not just that, but also by failing, because you have to fail. So when you fail something, when you're trying something, look at it as a positive thing, not a negative thing, because that's going to make you stronger. That's going to make you wiser. That's going to make you be more educated next time before you do it, to basically get to the next level that you want to get. Now, what other tips you could give the audience here about maybe somebody's just starting in business, or maybe they're in a failing situation? How important it is. And another topic I want to talk about is because there's three main things. I think there's fitness, there's personal, family, and there's business.
Yes.
So anything else you want to give them?
If you're in a situation where you're like on a failure phase, or you're going through this crazy, huge problem, I think the most important thing is like to be present and to step out and look at it from a bird's eye view. Because a lot of times we're so focused into the problem that we don't step back and look at it with a bird's eye view, so like that we can find a better solution. And it's at those moments, the moments that we're present, we're not thinking about what's going to happen, we're thinking about what's happening at this moment. And that's how we're able to come up with solution. As an entrepreneur, we have to find a solution, because if you don't find a solution, that means you can't call yourself an entrepreneur.
And nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody.
That's right. Yes. And the other one, I think very important one, and my mentor taught me this, and I really love this one. This is what it's called, become an ask hole. Because the more that you ask, the more answers you're going to get. A lot of times, that's why I stopped using the word self-made and I use God-made, because in order for us to get to the top, we need people around us. Like you have an amazing team that supports you every time, and it continues to help you with your vision to continue growing. So for us to continue growing, we need a team of people that are going to support us and are going to help us get to the top. So count on those people. Ask for help. And it's okay to ask for help.
100%. Ask, beg if you have to, follow up.
Become an asshole.
Become an asshole.
Ask
hole.
Yes.
I love it. Now, Edwin, if somebody wants to reach out to you, maybe pick your brain a little bit more. I know you do have one of your seminars, your whatever that you have your yacht events and your